Well, hello there, and welcome once again to my little arty corner on the internet. Or welcome for the first time if you're a new visitor here. And I hope that you enjoy what you see, and that it sparks off some creativity or gives you some ideas for what you could do, and perhaps encourage you to take up drawing or to do drawing if that's what you wish. I've been doing a series of drawings with seed pods and floral and other stuff, and this page is the page I'm working on. It's almost full. I've got the space up here for just some others, but this I started yesterday. I needed a bit of a break from drawing colouring templates because my brain was beginning to get frazzled with it all, and so I thought, okay, let's have a look and see if I can create a drawing, painting, artwork, picture, how do you describe it? I don't know. Using some of the motifs that I've used, and some perhaps I haven't. These ones on the bottom, I don't think I've shown, but they're really easy. I say that. It's just an arch, and underneath I've just put in varying sizes of things that look like pebbles, I suppose, which pleases me no end. But these seed pods are familiar. They're these kinds of ones, but I haven't put all of the patterns in the sections, possibly yet. There are reasons for that, but that's what I'm doing personally at the moment, amongst other things. But this is the one that I'd like to get finished today if I can. And part of me is feeling a bit guilty that I'm staying inside drawing, and it's a lovely, lovely sunny day. Unfortunately, we've got really high winds, and the advice is, if you can, don't go out type thing. So not wanting to be one that gets blown around all over the place, I'm quite happy to do that. Okay, so some different kinds of seed pods, and I'm going to carry on with this idea of a circle within a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, these are hand drawings. So I'm going to start. Let me have a look. I didn't adjust this properly, did I, before I started today? It'll be fine. There we go. It just wants to. Let me just have a look. Hopefully you'll see. Yeah, it'll be fine. You'll get the drift. So I'm just going to start with a. Oh look. I don't know if you could see it, but there was like a circular shape there, so I'm going to make use of that. I'm going to start to put in my stem here. I'm going to build it up to begin with a few of these blocky things, and then I'm going to draw another circle around here, but I'm going to start it about halfway down the first part of this first part of the stem, and I'm going to draw it much bigger, like so. And I'm going to have to tidy up these lines because this pen is getting old and tired, but there's still tons of ink in it. Frustrates me because I love these pens, but I never get the full use out of them. Okay, this is going to be a seed here, so I am going to put a highlight in. I'm going to draw the highlight in, and I think I'm going to find a narrower pen, finer nibbed pen, and I'm going to just put some contour lines down here to suggest that this is quite circular, which I think would work. And I am going to pop some in here so it doesn't just look circular. Hopefully that gives the illusion of it looking just a bit on the hollow side, which I can bring out. Okie dokes. Now then, I do want to This is a big area that's just open and empty, which could be fun to just shade in the same way I did these, to add folds or pleats or whatever in them, dips, like this one's got almost like a dip in it. But I'm not. I'm going to add another circle there, so I've gone to 3 circles, so which I think could be quite fun. Okay, I'm going to pop this thicker pen to one side, and I am going to zoom out. Nope, I am as zoomed out as I can be. I'm really making a pig's ear of the video today, but you'll forgive me, I'm sure. Okay, so what I want to do here, I'm just going to draw lines in, but they're going to be narrower, closer together at this smaller circle and wider at the other one. And I'm going to do that consistently-ish all the way around. Again, we're drawing by hand, so it's a rare talent for somebody who can make everything completely consistent by hand. The little imperfections are what make it you and yours. The way that your hands move makes your art what it is. It gives it, is part of your signature style, in the same way that signing your name is your signature. People's hands don't move the same way, and the way that we draw, the way that we use muscles, each of us is different. Although I have to say that when I was a teenager, I realised my handwriting was beginning to look like my mother's, and I deliberately changed it because I really didn't want handwriting that was like my mother's. Not that there was anything wrong with my mother's handwriting, I just didn't want handwriting that was like hers. It took a lot of effort, a lot of practice and a lot of concentration, but I got there. So that's quite an interesting kind of pattern around this. I think it's almost beginning to make it feel as if it's bending up, round and forward, perhaps, because it feels like these lines are coming towards me, and these ones could be going away, especially if I perhaps try and add some weight to these lines in particular, close to the bottom. Possibly, I'm not sure. No, I said this looks like, well, could be. Confused. That's my normal state. I'll bring it out eventually when I add some shadow and highlight. So let's get the stem in before I go any further. Let's look. I'm just going to make this one quite straight. All the way down. I've done all the fiddly bits really, where it meets that particular seed. There we go. There's the first one. Okay, so let's make use of this idea again. So a circle there. I'm going to pop a couple of bits on the bottom. Looks like a little bulb, light bulb. And for this one, I'm going to start this from the bottom, and I've created it. It's more of an oval shape, and that was deliberate. It's a bit squashed on this corner, but it's fine. Okay, I'm going to add an aura inside it. Then I definitely want to do something around here with this. I think I know what I'll do. Put something like a support there so it's in half. And then I'm going to pop in a couple of spirals on each side. I have to admit, this is one of my favourite things. I love spirals and being able to use them in this kind of way. Just makes me smile and happy, I think. Making that line thicker because I made a bit of a boo-boo, but that's okay. I'm turning it this way up because I've now decided that I want to put my seed separate in there. What I am going to do, again with the 01 micron, I'm going to add some lines there to add some shadow, and then I think I'm just going to add stippling here, just to give it that feeling that this is in shadow and darker, and leave the rest at the top here to be quite light and airy. A couple of stray dots at the top just to make it look like it's, you know, how it's supposed to be. And tell you what else I'm going to do then. If I'm making use of spirals on the inside, I can make use of spirals on the outside. Ooh, this one's going to be tricky because it's going to go behind this stem. And there we go. So that's quite nice. I like that one. I quite like them when they become ornate. Come to think of it, I quite like them. Full stop, I think. It's not very often I draw something and I go, ugh, what was I thinking? Although I think you've heard me say that quite a few times, so it does happen quite a lot. I'm going to have this stem peek out at the bottom here, and I'm going to have it all bendy because I can. And the other reason is I get these lovely little spots here, these closed spaces that I can then add shadow to. Now, strictly speaking, closed spaces in a drawing isn't a good idea. Apparently, it's not very good to have, you know, small spaces that are closed in. It distracts the eye and it creates patterns and shapes that take away from the others. But I quite like them because they give me an opportunity to use colour and to try things out. So break the rules, because, well, heck, you don't have nature, you know, seed pods in nature going, no, we've got to leave space between us, we can't have enclosed space. So let's go for it. So yeah, welcome. Okay, and have a look. Oh, it's a different shape. It's not a circle, it's an oval. I'm going to put something at the top there. And if I thicken that line at the back there, it almost makes it look like we've got a lip there or we're looking inside it. I'll add some lines in there as well. That'd be nice. Okay, so how am I going to do this one? I'm going to draw a couple of lines coming out of the bottom, roughly in the centre. Then let's go in that kind of direction, I think. And then, because I'm into blobby stems today, I should just pop. Oh, now that means that I'm going to have to do these in alternating black and white. So I really made a big slip there. So I was doing that while I was looking and thinking, is my stem going to come out anywhere? Yep, it will, because I can make it go here. And if I put 3 of these in the middle and do the old black and white thing, highlight in the middle. Then I can, well, I did want it to go right in between them, but it's fine. I'm only doing one more because that's enough to, because all the stems are, I say all the stems, a lot of the stems are different. This is the only one that has this, so I don't think you saw me draw the stem, I'm sorry. So I've made the stem really bend, as if this is curling up forward, I suppose, here. I was hoping to actually get it over this way a bit more, so they closed that gap, but I didn't. Tip, draw from the bottom next time, Angela. And then I've got this to do something with, haven't I? And I am going to just pop some little lines in there. And then I think let's add an aura, because if in doubt, that's always a good thing to do, I think. Okay, and then I need to work out how I can add something here. And I think it's going to be a case of, oh, now that's interesting, because those have joined forces with these, I think. Now that could be interesting. It is. So I've put that line in and started to aura, and I realised I could actually create I don't know, what do you call these, sort of like arches or flaps, or I don't know what you call them, but they are going over the aura here. So if I thicken this bottom line on each side, that'll give that impression that these are over whatever this section is and tucking in underneath the outside one. So it's a bit of weaving going on. Could almost do the same, because I think I've got space for another one. So if I just pop another one in like that, I am going to thicken these bottom lines a bit. I'm going to be very pushed for space for the aura, but I think I can do it. Yeah, there we go. So a bit of weaving going on, which is very strange and not something you'd find in nature. This one really needs, looking at this one, it stands out as a bit strange. Sorry, let me move it up here. This one stands out as a bit strange because it doesn't have an aura, but that's easily fixed. Like so. And I think the inside needs one as well. Then yeah. Looks almost like a torque. One of the Iron Age, Bronze Age, gold kinds of neck ornaments. So, no. Or a halo, even that way up. Or one of these fancy, is it Russian headdresses that they wear like this. I'm not sure if it's just bridal or whether it's for other things, but I think that's what it reminds me of almost. So that's interesting. Those extra lines made all the difference, in my opinion. A positive difference, not a negative one. Right, let's try and keep everything on camera this time, is it? Okay, one more, or perhaps a couple of little ones just to fit in here, maybe. Okie dokes. So let's start with a seed, and I think I'll get a couple in here because I quite like little things as well. They're fun because you can group them a lot easier, and the smaller you draw them, the more they become patterns or forms that you can use to infill in your designs. And I do say your designs because I'm just giving you ideas for things that you perhaps would like and could use. Okay, we're going to have one that's going behind this, I think, which is fine because it just ties everything together. And another one here, I think. Why am I drawing so many? The simple answer would be because I can, but also they give me plenty of opportunity to play around with various options and techniques. There's a nice 7 there, so that suits me. And for these, I am just going to do a simple stem on each. And to start with, I'm doing a V shape coming from the bottom, where I can see the bottom. And then where I can, I'm going to put a circle on, because I quite like that. And then it's time to just draw lines from them, and from these they really can be wiggly because I am not going to try to draw them perfectly vertical. They can wibble and wobble as they wish, and of course that means there's plenty of opportunity for more spaces to be broken up. Got this one here to do. And that one will just hide behind, and this one will be mostly hid behind, I think, because if I start to bring it out, I think it could be a little bit on the confusing side. Okay, let me have a look. I'm going to make you seasick a moment while I adjust my camera. There you are, it's better. I think you can see that a bit better now, hopefully. You are autofocus now. Fabulous. So I've got some space over here, and I think I'm just going to put a couple of these in there, but perhaps with different shaped outside bits. So these ones are going to be a bit more on the triangular side, which is actually really quite nice. You could do them in reverse with the wider part of the triangle at the top, a bit like these kinds of shapes, but I'm going with this way round today. Do I want to put any more in? Oh, I don't think so. And again, I'm going to do the same idea at the bottom, where I have that V shape. And I'm just going to have them going crazy ways. These like to grow in a path less well grown in, I suppose, less well travelled in. So there we are, a whole heap of different seeds and things. So let's get to these ones. Oh, let me have a look. I have got my brown pen here. So I'm going to go to this one because I think, let's move it around, this particular one here, I think this would benefit from I think I'm beginning to regret this idea already. Let's have a look and see if that will add anything or not. They do. I'm just squashing ovals in, really. Long, thin oval shapes. That do. Does that do anything? think it does. I think it helps. Now then, I can, if I want, I could, if I want to, do this section with some brown. I think I might, just to see how they work together, I think. I say work together. How this just helps to emphasize, I think, is the word I'm looking for, the different sections, or helps to make sense of them in some way. It may not, and it may. Sometimes you just got to add something to see what happens. So just lots and lots of little circles going in. Squash circles. Some are more circular than others. Others are distinctly strange shaped. I've actually had quite a busy arty day. I did get lost first thing this morning in drawing a mandala. It's digital art, so I tend not to record that because it's, well, I think it's frustrating to see me zooming in and out, twisting things around, and because I'd speed it up because I can't do digital art and talk. That just does not work. So there's that one. Okay, what about this one? Can I do anything with this brown pen here? I think so. No, I'm not going to. No, we're not going to. Okay. For these ones, I'm going to add on one of them some circles as an edging, as a border. Next door, I'm going to fill this in with circles, and yep, I'm using brown because it makes a nice change, a nice difference. I actually really do like the colour on this brown. Actually chose a colour very similar to this to work on my mandala with, because I wanted something that was not just black. I wanted to work with some colour as well to break up the black. And then I got lost in trying to add shadow and highlight, and I was working in Autodesk Sketchbook, which is my first program that was really the entryway for me to digital art, as I just couldn't understand Photoshop. It just made no sense to me. Adobe products don't. They just don't seem very logical to me. I wrangled with Affinity products, what are they called? It's Photo, and it's not Illustrator, Designer. And Designer started to give me some information about how digital art works, but I was working with that at the same time I was working with Sketchbook. And I watched tutorials, and they didn't really make much sense even when I followed them. And I've learned far more by playing around with Sketchbook to begin with. Than I have by following tutorials, it has to be said. Although the desktop publisher I do have a guidebook for it, which is really useful. So that's how you do that then. Because I just couldn't work some things out for myself. So I thought, right, okay, let's get the book that goes with it, the instruction manual, as it were, just to see what happens. Okay. do something that's a bit different here, I think. That'll be quite nice. And here I'm going to put black dots in this one. It looks like an eye now. Okay, we'll go with it. Pop that in. And then I am going to section some of that off. Like that. For something a bit different. This one looks a bit strange here. It looks almost like I've got, I'm looking inside. It's almost like I don't know if you can see that. It's almost like I'm looking into a tunnel, like there's a little hood on this. So let me play with that idea and add some stripes. Yeah, that really gives that illusion. And then if inside, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have the circular shapes going in a different way. And what I'm going to do here is this one, I'm just going to colour in black, as I will this one. And perhaps actually I think I might colour all of these in black, because it really does look like it's in shadow that way. That's quite dramatic, isn't it? There we are. This is why I like this here, is why I like playing with things, because sometimes you try something without any thought or, you know, conception. Right, let's just see what happens. And sometimes it can turn out you think, why did I do that? Or you go, hang on, if I do this instead, it would work better. So you learn by doing it. It's never anything is really a mistake. It may not be what you're looking for, but it leads to something that is. And then sometimes you do something, you think, oh, let's try that. And you go, oh, that works really nice. I really like that. So I think this is actually sat on this V shape. It's a support, and then this is going into here. It almost looks like it's some kind of ball joints they could swivel around on. Alien seed pods that are sentient, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, on this one, I'm definitely going to put a circle in there. And then I am going to, let me have a look. I'm going to use this idea of contour lines. So I want to get, where do I want, okay. So I'm going to put some down the middle, but then I am going to make them bend outwards and back together again to give that feeling of something that's quite round there. That could be fun to do, these contour lines going the other way and doing a checkerboard pattern, but I'm not going to. No, I'm not. Okay, what can I do with this one? I'll put a couple of auras around where the seed is going to be, or seeds, because I could put a number in here. Sometimes I really do need. And I like to put my seeds inside an aura. Rather, I draw the seeds and then I put an aura around them. Because when they're all black, like this, that little aura helps to keep them all separate from each other, even when I overdraw the lines, draw the lines over each other. So you know that they're separate and it's not just black with a couple of white spots in. Okay, so that's nice as it is. But it's a bit plain on the back. So I think with this one, I'm going to do the same kind of thing as I did here. and put some curvy lines in. Go down like that to give that feeling of there's something round on the top there. So that's quite nice. Okay, next one. Let's put some aura in there. For this one, I'm going to, now I'll do it on a different one. Because what I want to do, I'm going to draw a cluster of 4 seeds in there. I'm just going to put black dots to suggest where, oh God, black dots to suggest where they are. This is not a very good video today, I do apologise. As in, I'm just not aware of where everything is. Okay. And then for this, I think I'm going to put some zigzags around. I think that could be an interesting difference. Have a look now. They look almost like very pointy petals. It reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? I don't know. It does remind me of something and I can't think what it is. I've got this, oh right, so I've got this one here which doesn't have any seed in it yet, but it will have because I'm going to pop one, just one there, just inside there, and perhaps I'll add another 1, 2, 3, oh, that's 4 in total. You know me, I've got a thing about having odd numbers, so there we are. So there's that one. Okie dokes. So that looks, when it's coloured in, that would look like these are embedded in some kind of, I don't know, gel or foam or whatever. Depends on how big you draw it. This is a very strange shape here. I'm going to do something about that. I am. Because really that should not be going that way. But I'm going to make use of it because I will use it as part of the pattern on the top. There. Okay. Alright. What am I doing here? I don't know yet. I'm just tidying my scrappy pen work up. This looks like, oh, this could be cheeky. Look at it. I don't know. Looks almost like I've got a hole down into the seed pod where the seeds might be, but I can't get my head around how would I draw that. If that's a window, how would I draw the seed in here and still see it through there? I just can't envisage that. I can't visualize it. I'd need to look at something that was like this. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking, oh, I've been struggling drawing dogs and things like that. I really could do with something like plasticine so I could make rough models of them to get dimension and shape and other stuff just right. I must remember to put it on my list. I'll forget now, but I was thinking that yesterday. I was thinking that could help. Okay, so what I could do instead though is perhaps create illusion that something is coming out, maybe. I don't know. This is one of the ones where I did something and I didn't think about what I was doing, and I'm now trying to make the best of it. I'm not doing it very successfully, but let's see if I mimic that on this bit. perhaps. No, it still don't work. It's okay though. Yeah, it's life, it's art, I'm playing around. It's Saturday afternoon and I'm inside drawing, and that's fine. Okay. I do like an aura. And for this one, I'm going to pop circle at the top, because I'm going to split this, and I may do this with 3 lines. There's 2 sections there. And then what I'm going to do, trying to work out if I want these to go up or down. I think I'm going to go with what the contour lines would be. And just put some petally type things in there. They're basically U or N shapes, but I've gone from bigger to smaller as the space gets smaller. Have a look and see. So first one sort of follows the shape of that circle at the bottom, and then all the other ones I'm making follow roughly the same kind of direction. I think this one, the seed, might actually be at the top. There may also be one at the bottom as well, because it's an Angela thing. Use the thicker pen to just add some shadow to it, darkness to it. It's quicker to colour in, doesn't wreck the nibs quite so quickly. Okie dokes, let's have a look here. I'm going to use that idea again. Going to put my seed in there. This time I'm going to make it look like there's something tucked under this, as if this is really a flap. So semicircles, and then this line on the that they're tucked under, I've just made it thicker so it looks like there's some shadow there, so it looks more like it's tucked in. Adding shadow and highlight is really going to help with that. And I'm also going to do some lines with some sparkle in that don't go horizontal, except for the very first one. They gradually bend out until they, so it ends up kind of parallel with it. It just adds to that sort of like, what is going on here? What is this? Well, it's an alien seed pod, because why not? And so let me have a look here, because we have got this here, which could be a seed, but I could also have one. This could also be the way in. This could just be what everything is held together with. And I'm going to fill this some seeds. Not right the way down to the bottom of the top. I think it's nice to have that black to help define that space. That's a very funky one. That one you can really look into the top. So I'm just adding some stippling. So there we are. There's a whole bunch of weird and wonderful seeds here. As I've said, what will make all the difference is shadow and highlight. So just for a little while I'm going to do that, and I am going to use a the Faber-Castell Pitt Graphite Matte pencil. It's a 6B. And I'm going to start with this one because if I move it over, I've got everything too far away from me. This is the problem. I don't think I've had enough tea today. Yeah, I'm a tea drinker. I like tea. If I drink coffee, that's usually a sign that I'm not very well. And that's a genuine thing. Rarely ever drink coffee. I go through phases of drinking mocha, you know, hot chocolate with some coffee in it, but the amount of coffee I put in is tiny. It's just enough to take away the over sickly sweetness of hot chocolate, because hot chocolate can be really sickly sweet. I don't make it as strong as it says on the pack either. I use half the amount in a bigger quantity of liquid. Same if I ever drink coffee, it's ridiculous. If I go into a coffee shop, I'll ask them, have something like a latte. So I say, can I have the milk in the glass on its own, and can I have the coffee that you would have put in there in a glass or a cup or whatever separate? And you look at me and say, if you put it all in, it's too much coffee here. I can just put in as much as I like. And in a large latte, I will take a teaspoon of coffee and add it, and that is more than enough coffee for me to taste it. It's just enough to enjoy that taste without it being overpowering. So they look at me as if I'm odd, but I just go, it's what I want. And good on them, because they do it. Well, they didn't have my custom, but you know, they do, and sometimes it takes a while to explain. Latte, milk in the mug, not the coffee. Coffee in a separate one. Separate, so I can add the coffee to my own taste. There we go. So that instantly adds. It looks more like a croissant now. Croissant. I can't say it. But it does. It looks like one of them. And I'm going to leave that middle separate because I think it looks quite nice, almost like a halo, to be honest. I think it works quite nicely like that. These bits here will need a little bit of shadow as well, but I'm not going to give them too much. I'm going to try and get some where there will be some, perhaps a hint of shadow. But add colour, then that's where that will come from. Okie doke, so there's that one. This one, ooh, possibilities. Obviously here it's got to have some shadow in it because I've added the stippling, so it'd be nice to add some shadow. This is the seed, so underneath it I think there would be some shadow. So let's have a look at these before I add any more. Again, just like I did with the dots, I'm just easing the graphite up. Just that little bit. And then this one, I'm going to add graphite here and here. I'm going to add some around the bottom of these spirals as well, and there, because that's underneath. Perhaps a little bit down there, just a bit. Just gently, just soften that. Yeah, just buff it in so it won't move too much. I'm not going to do anything with the stems just yet. I'd be here all day if I did. Okay, I'm putting some graphite on either side of this central part here. Just a little bit in the bottom. And with these spirals I'm going to do the same as I did before, but this time I'm going to take the shadow up towards that border, that outside bit, so I can make it feel like it's underneath that, or that tucked into it, wedged in. Why do tortillons always go soft and floppy? Is this one of the questions for the ages? I don't know. Okay, so this is my seed pod here, and I am going to add shadow to it because I want to add colour to this one, I think. Now I've added too much in the middle. That's okay because I can just take it off. It's the marvellous thing, this is what erasers were invented for. Just work it so that looks quite nice. I could do with just a bit more off. Tap it on, and I think the bottom just needs that a little bit more. That's it. It's quite circular, or spherical, well, squash spherical, blobical. So these, I want this to look like it's bent up, both of them. So it's shadow at each end, but not taking that graphite all the way to the middle. It needs to be an area where there isn't any graphite, which will be the highlight, of course. So there's that. That is already looking a lot more interesting than it was. I'm going to add plenty of graphite over this one there, and under here and here, and also to the sides here, because especially these ones, because these would really be in shadow underneath. But I do want to get some to the sides here, because that will help with that feeling that these are bulging upwards, and perhaps that this these bands that are over them are just squashing them down. Or they want to grow bigger, but they can't. They have to sort of bulge up out of into the space that they're able to. So there's that. I'm going to leave the rest. Am I? No. I'm going to add some graphite. The most I want is where there would be shadows. So this area here, down here, this area here. I've put a bit too much graphite in there, but it's fine. There'll be some here and here, but not too much. And then for these, I think there would be shadow here. I'm going to pop some along this bottom edge. This is where the pencil could do with being sharper than it is, but it'll be fine. And here as well. So let's see how that works. That will work, I think. Just a bit of cleaning up to do in places, I think, just to help to keep that brightness there. So there's 3 done. I'm intrigued for this one. this little one here. And I am going to add some shadow just to the sides. And let's see how that works. With what's on the tortillon, I'm just going to add some shadow onto my support there for the seed. This needs a bit more intensity, I think, to the sides. So just add a bit more of graphite. There we go. So that actually, I think, that really does look like you're looking inside a tube. Ah, that's fun. It's always fun. Okay, this one I'm going to just put shadow right the way around the edge of this. And I'm just going to let that do what it can in terms of making I need a bit around here as well. Let's see if we can leave the centre of this area with the dots and circles in very clean and bright. Yeah, that looks like it's bulging upwards a bit. This, let's add some shadow to this particular seed as well, because I'm not going to use black on it. Colour, so there's that one. Okay, this I'm going to add colour or shadow in between these finer borders. I'm not sure, I'll put a little bit along the edge. And I'm going to get a different, oh, these are all clean. One here that's got a finer point on it, point that hasn't been wrecked or softened yet. So hopefully I can keep these in the area I want them in, rather than with the tortillon I was using, it's become, the ends become soft and soft in sort of like how easy it is to bend, and also soft as in the fibres have become really quite soft. But here I think this will work quite nicely. Yeah, and that does give a nice highlight there, doesn't it? So I think I could do with a bit of a wider one. I still haven't found my pencil case with the Tombow Mono eraser in. I've put it somewhere. I just don't know where. And this here, I'm just going to add some shadow at the bottom of this, or just around the edge, I think. So it looks like it's just going inwards. That'll work. That'll be fine, I think. Okay, let's go on. This one here is very strange, but let's see if I can use shadow to help to bring it to some kind of something I'm happy with, I suppose. I'm going to say I'm going to manage it. It may be something that's there as some weird and wonderful curiosity. I do like curious things, though. That's my downfall in some ways. I say curious. Quite a curious person in my own little way. If I get interested in something, it's like I take a deep dive into the rabbit hole of whatever it is I'm interested in. And there comes a point when I think I've learnt enough and something else then presents itself. That helps a bit. It makes a bit more sense. It reminds me of, I think it's gum nuts. Either gum nuts or eucalyptus seeds. I'm not sure if they're the same thing, but it's got that feeling like there's a lid on top that's popped off here. Perhaps it's held on by a bit of string, I don't know. Okay, I'll leave the others because they're going to be pretty much the same. Now then, this one, I'm going to put some shadow along the outer edges because that's where they would be in shadow. Around here, and then under this lip. I think there would be a tiny bit of shadow there because I think this would actually stick up, so that little bit of shadow there would help. Shadow here would certainly help. And I'm just going to tease some shadow around underneath this, because I think that perhaps would be sitting up a bit more. I need to get the eraser in there. I do. Just to get some of those brighter areas just back a little bit. That's a bit better. It's quite mechanical. These in here would have shadow. I am going to put some shadow at the top of this one and underneath, so it looks a bit buttonish, I suppose. Almost like a press button where you've got to put your finger in there to operate it. And the appearance of the outside is sticking up and the inside dips down. And then just some shadow around that and a bit going at the sides just to finish off this. Like that. So that's brought that one to life with shadow at least. You really do need some colour. Okay, and I am going to put some graphite underneath these and perhaps some just at the top there, next door to these the bands on the top. I could really do with that tiny rubber or an extremely micro tortillon with a micro point. That's where this should work. It does work just to bring that little hint of brightness back. Okay. And putting quite a lot there to make it much darker than the other areas around that little button. So there we are. It's my conglomeration, or my accumulation of seed pods, a whole page full. I've got so much stuff still to do here that I'd like to do. I've still got some here and down here to add shadow to and to add colour to and to try other things out with. But I hope you've enjoyed doing these. No doubt there'll be a plethora more because I like seed pods. I like flowers, I like plants, I like botanicals, but I also like things that are quite architectural as well. So where does this end? All of these patterns and so on. I sometimes think, how am I ever going to use all of these? I most probably won't. Though, as I showed you right at the beginning, I've used, well, an idea from these, if not these exact ones. I haven't put any patterns in, as I've said yet. There's still time. But it's all It's all part and parcel. It's all part of the fun of doing things like this. So these lines are going to be fun. These thin stems and how I add colour there is going to be interesting. A lot of fun for me. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed. It'd be nice if you could give me a thumbs up if you did. And comments are always welcome. Polite ones, please. Even if you've got criticism, as long as it's done politely, I don't mind people saying that. It's just, you know, total negativity really isn't required. The world doesn't need any more of that, I think. I think we could all do with a bit more pleasantness. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me either way. Nobody's left any unpleasant messages, it's fine. But please look after yourselves, take care of yourselves. Hope to see you back again. And find time to be creative. Take care for now. Hoyle.